In this video, we're going to count down the top 10 Wolverine battles. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I'm going to attempt to count down the top 10 best Wolverine battles of all time. This is, without a doubt, a Herculean task when you think about the longevity of Wolverine and the number of battles that he's gotten himself into. I've read a lot of comics over the last week or so, and I feel pretty good about the list, but as you would imagine, there's always going to be some differences of opinion. And so certainly if you have some thoughts on what should be in the top 10, don't be afraid to sound off down in the comments. I'm also going to make mention of a couple of honorable mentions, so make sure you stay tuned until the end. In the number 10 spot, we have Wolverine and Cable. And this is a book that is actually billed as the first meeting and battle of these two characters, but it's actually anything but. When you read the book, what you see is that Wolverine and Cable don't actually battle one another. Cable gets his butt kicked by the Vulture, and Wolverine takes on some other villain that used to fight with Cable in the future, present, past type of thing. And then the two actually team up. But there is no battle between the two of them, so I'm giving this one a thumbs down, and I'm also putting this one in the 10th spot. In the 9th spot, I have X-Men issue number 25 from Jim Lee's run. And this book is noteworthy because it's the issue in which Magneto attempts to rip the adamantium from Wolverine's bones. And I say attempt because he technically didn't get it all the way out, but enough to make it extremely painful. And he did this in retaliation for Wolverine essentially trying to kill him. So I think he was justified, but there wasn't a true battle between Wolverine and Magneto in this issue. There wasn't a whole lot of fighting in general, but this one's in the 9th spot. In the 8th spot, I have X-Men issue number 273. And like the last book, I'm also giving this one a little bit of a thumbs down from a battle standpoint. The reason being is that it wasn't a real battle between Wolverine and Gambit. They were training in the danger room. Wolverine lost concentration. I don't know why. Lady Deathstrike creeping into his subconscious. I don't know. But he lost concentration. Gambit took advantage and essentially defeated him in just a couple of panels. So not a real battle. It was a training simulation. Wolverine wasn't quite focused. So the 8th spot, it felt right. In the 7th spot, I have slotted in Punisher War Journal issue number 6 and 7. This is your classic comic book story of the mistaken identity. You have two warriors that are a little bloodthirsty that mistake each other for being the bad guy. They exchange some blows, some gunfire, and a little bit of blood, and then they go their separate ways. Not a bad read, but not a true battle in my mind. In the 6th spot, I've slotted in Uncanny X-Men issue number 96, and this is a key issue for a couple of reasons. But it's specifically noteworthy on this list because it's where we see Wolverine go into a Berserker rage. Nightcrawler is injured by this demon and Wolverine loses it. He loses it, and for a handful of panels, he goes in on this demon. I thought that the demon was dead. I think Wolverine thought that the demon was dead, but lo and behold, demons can't die. But it is a great demonstration of Wolverine's rage, and therefore I thought it was fitting to go on the list. In the 5th spot, we have Spider-Man vs. Wolverine issue number 1. And honestly, I am a little biased with this one because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so maybe I moved it up the list just a little bit, but it is actually a good story, and the fight scene featuring these two characters is pretty solid. The fight actually occurs after the two of these guys team up to take on some bad guys, and they have conflict over morality. Wolverine was essentially going to take out a friend that was dying, and Spider-Man didn't think that was a good idea. And so he attempted to stop Wolverine. Wolverine didn't like his attempts, so the two of them went at it for a few pages. And it was honestly, again, a pretty decent fight scene that resulted in Spider-Man actually killing somebody. That was interesting. In the fourth spot, we have X-Men issue number 205. Lady Deathstrike is a quintessential Wolverine villain. Like, he and she have some amazing battles. And in this issue, the two of them go toe-to-toe. And for a couple of pages, it is nothing but claws and slashing and blood. And you can't be mad at the Barry Windsor Smith artwork. As you can see behind me, I am a fan of his. This is a really awesome battle scene that I would have loved to see stretch out a little bit longer. In the third spot, we have Wolverine issue 88. This is the first meeting and battle between Wolverine and the Merc with the Mouth, Deadpool. And as you would imagine, with the two of these guys, there is a lot of slashing and cutting, and there's also a healthy number of jokes throughout this issue. It is an enjoyable read, I will tell you that. The fight scene, I think, was pretty well choreographed. I was hoping that they would fight again a little bit later in the issue, but you can't always get what you want. And what I would have loved is for Wolverine to win the battle, but he didn't. He did not win the battle with Deadpool. In the second spot, we have X-Men issue number 212. And honestly, the fight scene that I'm most interested in actually takes place in 213, but it starts in 212. There is an abbreviated battle in the Morlock tunnels between Wolverine and Sabretooth. And Wolverine ends up, caving in this tunnel, which, truncated the battle, which meant that the battle was really pushed to the next issue, that being 213, and the two of these guys went at it. Sabretooth is a quintessential villain for Wolverine. He is bigger, he is faster, he is stronger, he is certainly more vicious, and as a result of that, the two of them have some amazing battles. This one, I think, is worth the read. And in the number one spot, we have Incredible Hulk issue number 340. I will tell you that I do not like the artwork in this issue. I said it. I do not like the artwork in this issue. But this is one heck of a battle between Wolverine and the Incredible Hulk. I mean, they fight for several pages and it goes back and forth. The two of these guys really battling it out. And ultimately, like, Wolverine literally tries to kill the Incredible Hulk. He severely injures him, but, the Hulk just got mad and just did what he does, which is fight until there's no more fighting to be had. This, again, not, in my opinion, a well-drawn issue, but it is a fantastic battle between two amazing characters. So that is essentially my top 10. That is my rundown, and maybe there's some movement between some of those numbers, but that's my countdown. Now it's time for the honorable mentions.
My granny ashes and the cross on my neck. That's just how I go to church. Hold it tightly, close my eyes. That's just how I get my word. My ancestors are my God. I try to put them first. I'd have been in a small city, do my best and my worst. It's right here where I discovered all that. It ain't about where you at. It's where you give your all at. I used to have big city dreams.